He found a simple girl bitten by a snake. Hours later, a helicopter landed with her security team. It was supposed to be just another quiet hike for Jake Miller, a wildlife photographer who had taken a break from the noise of New York City to find some solitude in the remote hills of Northern California. But fate had other plans. About 2 miles off trail, nestled near a sun-drenched clearing, Jake spotted movement under a tree. At first, he thought it was an animal. But as he moved closer, he realized it was a young woman, barefoot, trembling, and clearly in pain. Her leg was swelling rapidly, and her breathing was shallow. A rattlesnake bite. Her lips barely moved. "Help, please!" Jake didn't hesitate. He dropped his camera, rushed to her side, and tore his flannel shirt to tie a makeshift tourniquet above the bite. He offered her water, calmed her with his words, and pulled out his phone. No signal. He knew he had to act fast. Lifting her into his arms, he began the uphill trek toward the nearest ranger outpost, nearly a mile away. He stumbled. He sweated. He even twisted his ankle. But he never stopped. As he climbed, he couldn't help but notice her unusual grace, even in pain. She wasn't panicking. She wasn't angry. She kept thanking him. Again and again. "I didn't think anyone would help me," she whispered. Jake chuckled through his exhaustion. "Of course I would. That's what people do, right?" When they finally reached the ridge, his phone lit up with one bar. He called 911, gave them his coordinates, and collapsed beside her in the tall grass. The paramedics would be there in an hour, they said. But what happened next took him completely by surprise. Less than 40 minutes later, the sky began to thunder, not with clouds, but with a chopper. A large, matte black helicopter with no visible markings swept in and descended near their position. Armed men in suits jumped out, scanning the area with trained precision. A woman in a white uniform rushed toward them with medical gear. Jake was stunned. "What is this? Who are you?" The girl he had carried, now barely conscious, murmured, "I'm not just anyone." She passed out just as one of the men approached him. "Sir, thank you for saving her. You have no idea what you've done." Within seconds, she was airlifted away. Hours later, Jake sat in a ranger cabin, foot wrapped in gauze, sipping water. The ranger handed him a note left by one of the men from the helicopter. It read, "You showed humanity when you didn't know who she was. Thank you. The world needs more people like you." The next morning, his phone buzzed. A message. No name. Just a photo. The girl, smiling from a hospital bed, holding a card that read, "You saved a princess. But you'll always be the hero." Jake never saw her again. But something changed in him that day. He returned home with no headlines, no interviews, and no recognition. Just the quiet knowledge that one selfless act can ripple far beyond what we imagine. And sometimes, when you help a stranger, you just might save someone the whole world is watching. Because kindness needs no title. It just needs action.